In this video on management and cost accounting, we will be talking about the different methods of costing. What we have learned so far is that cost accounting is the branch of accounting that deals with the study of cost and methods to bring down the cost. We would be talking about what are the different techniques that can be followed by a firm in terms of understanding or calculating the costs which are associated with the firm. That's the reason why we are talking about the methods of costing. Now, when we talk about methods of talking, we are referring to the techniques that are followed by a firm in terms of ascertaining the costs which are associated with an activity. There are different methods that can be adopted. These methods would depend on the nature of the company, the type of industry they are into, what are the policies of the company, and at the same time, what are the management's requirements. So based on this, there are different methods which are available. In this video, we will be talking about some of the important methods of costing that can be used. The first method of costing is called as job costing. So in job costing, the costs are collected and accumulated based on the jobs that are carried out. So this is the method of costing which is used in cases where you might be needing specific approaches, work patterns, or processes. So because you use job costing, there is a distinct need for you to maintain identity, analyze which are the different costs which are coming into. Based on that, you would end up calculating or computing the overall cost. An example for this would be the service of a vehicle at a service center. So depending on the activities which are performed on your vehicle, the overall cost might change. The next method of costing is the batch costing. So this is used in industries which end up processing activities in batches. So each batch may comprise of a quantity of items which are identical in nature, and this is usually used in cases or in industries where the production activity is continuous. So on completion, the total cost is ascertained, and this gets divided by the number of units which are produced. So based on this, you would end up calculating the overall cost. Okay, so an example for this would be the processing of food in the case of food industry. The next is called as process costing. So process costing is used in the case of scenarios where the production is carried out through multiple stages of processes. So here what happens is the total cost is determined for the different stages, the different processes that the product goes through. Then all this is totaled up for you to determine and estimate what is the total cost that you would be incurring in terms of the overall cost. An example for this would be the bottling of mineral water. Next is the example of operation costing. Operation costing is a mix of job costing as well as process costing. So this is used in scenarios where there is more product specific procedures. So this is used in the cases where there are more complex manufacturing environment. So we will talk about an example. Let's say you are manufacturing different variants of the same model of car. There is a differentiation. Because there is a slight differentiation, there would be a difference in the prices of each variant of the car that gets manufactured. The next method of costing is called as unit costing. So this is used where production is usually carried out in continuous continuous processes, and usually at a large scale. So here what happens is the total cost is estimated. It gets divided by the number of units which are produced, and that is how the overall cost gets calculated. An example for this would be electricity, which is usually measured in terms of kilowatts. The next is operating costing. Operating costing is used in the case when you end up providing a service. So depending on the nature of activities that are being carried out, you would end up calculating the total cost. Let's talk about an example for this. Stay at a hotel. So stay at a hotel may comprise of multiple sub-services. They might be front desk, they might be housekeeping, they might be room service, they might be the restaurant which is involved. So all these costs are calculated together, and that is how you would end up calculating the overall cost. The next is called as uniform costing. Uniform costing is used in scenarios where there is the irrespective of the actual cost, the industry tries to maintain a specific standard. So here, the industry is forced to follow a specific pattern or technique in order to ensure that the cost is maintained at a uniform rate. An example would be tea shops. If you look at almost all the tea shops which are available in a neighborhood or in the vicinity of a locality, the price of one cup of tea would remain the same. This is an example of uniform costing. Next is multiple costing. Multiple costing is also called as composite costing. This is used in the case of products or services which are very complex in nature. So different methods, multiple methods gets calculated together in order to understand the total cost of the product. So an example would be manufacturing of a plane. So these are some of the methods of costing which are used in as a part of cost accounting and determining. These methods are vital because using these methods, the cost accountant would end up calculating the total cost. Okay. I hope this video has been useful for all of you. Wishing you all a happy season of learning.